I thought my dad was dead, until I found him living in the walls of my childhood home. I was 10 the last time I saw my father, or at least the last time I thought I saw him. It was a rainy Tuesday. He came home from work late, smelling like cigarettes and motel soap. He kissed my forehead, whispered, "Take care of your mom," and walked out the front door with a duffel bag slung over his shoulder. My mother didn't cry. She just locked the door, double-checked the deadbolt, and said, "He's not coming back. Don't ask why." I asked anyway. She slapped me, first and only time. That told me the subject was off limits. So I stopped asking. Over time, I built a story in my head. Maybe he got into drugs, ran off with someone else, died in a ditch. My mom wouldn't say. All I knew was we moved to a new house 6 months later. One she said was ours and that he had no claim to. I was 11 when she told me he died. Car accident, she said. Eyes fixed on the stove. Quick and clean. She didn't go to the funeral. Said there wasn't one. No death certificate. No obituary. Just a recycled lie with a new ending. By then, I had learned to stop pushing. Fast forward 18 years. I'm 28, working IT for a university. Quiet life. 1-bedroom apartment. Weekly calls with my mom, which are mostly her asking why I'm still single and me dodging the question. She's older now, thin, high-strung, paranoid in a way that used to be eccentric and now just feels unstable. When I visit her, I notice she's stopped using certain rooms. The back guest bedroom is always locked. The pantry has a deadbolt on it. She says it's because of rats, but I've never seen a single droppings or heard a scratch. She's obsessed with locking up after dark. She has 5 separate locks on the back door. Window bars. A motion-activated floodlight. She says it's for safety. I nod, but something feels off. Last Thanksgiving, I stayed over instead of just doing dinner. That's when the sounds started. Scraping, thudding, soft, deliberate footsteps. Always between 2 and 4 a.m. Always from the walls. I asked if she heard them. She snapped. It's the pipes. Don't make a fuss. But it wasn't the pipes. I knew that sound. I've lived in old houses. Pipes don't pace. That night, I couldn't sleep, so I followed the noise, put my ear against the wall in the hallway, and heard breathing. Not the shallow hum of wind or the groan of settling beams. Breathing. Wet. Human. I backed away slowly and returned to my room. I didn't sleep. The next morning, she made pancakes, cheerful as ever. Asked if I wanted to go to church. I declined. Said I was tired. Said I was heading home early. She didn't protest. As I pulled out of the driveway, I saw the curtains in the back guest bedroom flutter, just for a second. No one should have been in there. Back in my apartment, I couldn't shake it, so I started digging. Searched public records for my father. No death certificate. No accident report. No missing persons case. It was like he vanished in 2005 and the world shrugged. Then I searched old real estate records for our current house and found something that made my skin crawl. The previous owner? My dad's brother, Uncle Tim, a man I hadn't seen since I was a kid. He sold the house to my mom 6 months after Dad left. Except he didn't sell it. He transferred it. For free. I called him. He didn't answer. 2 hours later, I got a text. Don't ever call this number again. Let it go. I didn't let it go. I drove back to the house the next weekend. Told my mom I was visiting for a surprise brunch. She seemed irritated. Kept checking the clock. Said we had to eat quick. Said she had plans. I asked if I could use the bathroom. Instead, I went down the hall, straight to the back guest room. Still locked, but the frame was cheap, the hinges rusted. It didn't take much to pop it open with a butter knife. What I found inside didn't make sense at first. Mattress on the floor, piles of books, empty food cans, a lantern, a small sink and camping toilet, blankets duct-taped over the windows, a wall lined with spiral notebooks stacked like bricks, and in the corner, a mirror, cracked, but angled perfectly toward the door. Someone had been watching it, waiting. I heard footsteps behind me. My mother. Her voice shook. You shouldn't be in here. I turned. Who's living here? Her face crumpled like paper. For the first time in my life, I saw her truly scared. Then she whispered, He didn't leave. I froze. What do you mean? She stepped inside, slowly, like the room itself might betray her if she moved too fast. Her hands trembled as she pulled the door shut behind her. I never wanted you to see this, she said, eyes darting around. It's not what you think. I looked at the mattress, the stacks of notebooks, the sink. Is Dad alive? Her silence was answer enough. Where is he? She walked past me and opened a cabinet I hadn't noticed. Low, covered with a dusty crocheted cloth. Inside was a false bottom. She reached in and pulled out a small ring of keys. There's a root cellar under the house, she said. He's down there. I backed away. You're keeping him prisoner? No, she snapped. Then, softer, he's sick. I didn't follow. Not yet. I couldn't move. So she told me. After he walked out, she said he came back 2 weeks later, ranting, disoriented, talking about being followed, about voices, about cameras in the trees. He'd been in a motel but said they found him. They're trying to break me, he told her. She thought he was on drugs. She screamed at him to leave. He collapsed on the porch, convulsing, foaming at the mouth. She didn't call an ambulance. She didn't want them taking him again. Instead, she dragged him inside, put him in the basement, said it was just until he stabilized. But he never did. He changed, she whispered. His eyes, his voice. He stopped being him. I stared at her. So you locked him under the house? No, he wanted to stay down there. He said the light made it worse. The noise. Said I was the only one who could protect him. You believed him? She nodded. Mom. That was 20 years ago. She looked away. He still thinks they're coming, she said. Every night. He hears them, feels them, says they crawl under his skin. I wanted to scream, to run, to call someone, but I didn't, because a part of me needed to see. The entrance to the root cellar was in the laundry room, beneath the dryer. She rolled it aside and unlocked a hidden latch under the floor mat. A square trapdoor, wooden and ancient, the kind you see in horror movies, creaked open like it had a voice. Darkness below, thick and warm, like breath. She turned on a switch. A single bulb flickered to life beneath. I bring him food twice a day. He doesn't like to talk much anymore. I climbed down first. My feet hit concrete, dirt walls, damp air. There was a bed frame, rusted and bent, a shelf lined with tinned food, a bucket in the corner, a battery-powered radio playing static, and in the farthest corner, hunched beneath the bulb, him. His beard was wild, gray-white like ash. His clothes were rags, layered in grime. His hands looked like claws, fingernails grown into curves. And his eyes, they were open, alert, but there was no light in them, just depthless void. He didn't speak, didn't blink. He stared right through me. Dad, I croaked. Nothing. Dad, it's me, your son. He tilted his head, just slightly, and then, in a voice that barely resembled human, you brought the others. I stepped back. What? The others? You didn't close the door. They know. He stood. I scrambled for the ladder. I tried to protect you, he growled. I begged her not to let you near, but now they'll crawl in you. I climbed like the ground was lava. My mom was waiting at the top. He doesn't mean it, she said. Not always. He gets worse when he's excited. I slammed the trapdoor and locked it. We sat in silence for nearly an hour. Neither of us knew what to say. The rules of family didn't apply anymore. Eventually, I asked, "Why didn't you get help?" She looked at me like I'd asked why water was wet. Because he asked me not to. He said if they took him, he'd be gone forever. And you believed that? No, she said quietly. But I loved him. I stood. I have to tell someone. She didn't protest. She just asked, "Will you come back after?" I didn't answer. I didn't go to the police. Not at first. I drove for hours. No music, no stops. Just me, the empty road, and the hum in my chest that felt like it might explode. I thought of every childhood memory, every bedtime story, every birthday, every time I asked where Dad went and Mom said, "Some men just aren't built for fatherhood." That was a lie. But the The truth was worse than anything I could have imagined. Eventually, I pulled into a motel 2 towns over. Cheap, sagging roof, a blinking vacancy sign like a warning. I paid cash, showered, sat on the bed, stared at the ceiling fan spinning like time itself had lost direction. I wanted to believe my mother had gone insane, that the man in the cellar was just some homeless lunatic she found and convinced herself was my father. But I couldn't unsee his eyes, his voice. I couldn't forget the way he said, "They'll crawl in you." I made the call the next morning. Not the police, Adult Protective Services. I didn't give names, just an address. I said I was worried about a man being kept in inhumane conditions, that there was possible mental illness involved. They took my name but didn't press for details. I hung up and immediately felt cold, like betrayal had a temperature. I didn't go back for a week. Couldn't. I needed time to breathe, to re-enter the world where people smiled and music played in stores and no one kept family members under floorboards. Then the letter arrived. No stamp, no return address, just slid under my motel door. Inside was a single sheet of paper, written in my mother's handwriting. "He's gone," that's all it said. I drove back in a panic, half expecting the house to be ashes. It wasn't. It looked the same as always. Paint peeling, roses dead in the front yard, blinds drawn tight. My mom was in the living room, sitting in the same recliner from my childhood. She looked smaller somehow, like gravity had started to win. She didn't look at me when I came in. "They took him," she said. "Who?" "3 days after your call. Some agency. They wore suits, had unmarked vans. No names." I blinked. "You mean APS?" "No," she said sharply. "Not them. These people didn't ask questions. They just showed credentials, told me to step aside, and took him. Like he was evidence. Like he didn't matter." I sat across from her. "You told me he was sick." "He was," she said. "But he wasn't wrong." She leaned forward, eyes suddenly sharp. "You remember the night terrors? The ones you had at 9? Barely. You screamed about worms in your ears. Said they were whispering secrets. You said, 'They made Daddy bleed.'" I went cold. She pulled out an envelope. Inside were old drawings, crayon scribbles, black lines twisting into human shapes with holes where their eyes should be. One had the word "listen" written over and over in shaky letters. I had no memory of making them. She handed me a Polaroid. It was me, age 9, lying in bed, mouth wide open in a scream. Eyes rolled back, bloody tissue in my ears. "You had a nosebleed that lasted 2 hours," she said. "We went to the ER. You don't remember?" I shook my head. "The next day, your father locked himself in the garage and burned all his notebooks. Said he wasn't going to let them have you too." I stared at her. "You kept all this from me." "I had to." "Why?" "Because if you remembered, they might come back." Her face broke. "You don't know what they did to him, what he saw." That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in my childhood bed, staring at the ceiling. I thought I heard something, scratching, like fingernails on wood. But when I turned on the light, it stopped. I checked the trapdoor, still locked. I went back to bed. That's when I saw the drawing on my nightstand, one I hadn't seen earlier. Fresh crayon, still waxy, black figures, no eyes. The word "listen" written in the corner. My hands started to shake, and I realized something I hadn't dared think before. What if my father wasn't insane? What if he was the only one who ever saw them coming? I didn't sleep that night. Every creak in the house made my skin crawl. I left the light on like I was 6 years old again. And when I closed my eyes, I didn't dream. I remembered that last night before he vanished. I was 9. I'd woken up to a noise outside my window, whispering, not voices too soft for that, like a choir made of static. I crept to the glass and saw him, my father, standing in the yard, staring up at the moon with blood running from his nose. His shirt was torn, his arms out like a scarecrow, and in the woods behind him, something moved, something tall, thin, wrong. The next morning, he was gone. My mother said he'd left us. I hadn't thought about that memory in 20 years, but now it played on repeat in my mind like a scratched film reel. and I couldn't stop hearing that word. Listen. I left the house before dawn, didn't tell my mother, didn't pack. I drove 3 hours to the city where I went to college, found a friend from my psychology program who now worked at a clinic. I told him I was doing a deep dive for a research story, needed help understanding delusions, auditory hallucinations, mass psychosis. He was suspicious but curious. We talked about folie à deux, shared delusions between people in close relationships. Fit my mom and dad. But then I mentioned the drawings, the bleeding, the fear. He paused, said, "That's not a shared delusion. That's trauma. Kids who experience that kind of fear don't invent it alone." I asked him if there was any kind of mass event like contamination or chemical exposure that could cause paranoia in a whole household. He asked if I wanted a CT scan. I didn't answer because the buzzing had started again in my ears, very faint, but steady, like something distant tuning in. When I got back home, the house was quiet, too quiet. My mother was gone. No note, no signs of struggle. Just one thing, the trapdoor was open. Not fully, just cracked. I called down, heart in my throat. "Mom!" Silence. I descended slowly, step by step. The cellar was dark. The bulb that once lit it hung shattered by the cord. But I saw footprints in the dirt. Small ones. Hers. And something else. A message scrawled on the wall in black ash. They brought him back. The next morning, the sheriff found my mother's car parked by the lake. Keys in the ignition. Driver's side door open. No sign of her. The lake was dredged. Nothing. No body. No footprints. Just the keys. And a piece of paper on the driver's seat with my name on it. Inside, she'd written just 3 words. "Don't answer them." I stayed in the house after that. Everyone told me to leave, but I couldn't. Something had taken root here. Something ancient and unfinished. I found more drawings. Hidden in vents. Under floorboards. All the same theme. Faceless people, wires in the sky, insects crawling out of mouths. Some were in my handwriting. Some weren't. I started waking up in different rooms, with no memory of how I got there. Once I found dirt under my nails. My palms blistered. The trapdoor open. The cellar empty. No sign of him. Or her. Just whispers. Every night they got louder. They say my name now. And sometimes I answer, just to see what happens. But I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't. Because the last time I answered, I heard another voice on the line. One that sounded exactly like mine.